Hello, GSD499 class. So I am Patrick. You all should know that by now, hopefully. Because I believe all of you have had me in the previous two courses. But this time around, you all should have gotten my email. And this time around, this is a group project course and not an individual course. So I'm going to stick you guys into groups. I think I'm going to stick you guys into two groups. One group of four, one group of three. 4 and 3. And so for this project, so this whole class, this next 6 weeks, we are solely going to be working on a project your group is going to decide on what to do. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what to do unless I reject it. Okay? So in the first couple of days, you guys need to kind of figure out what kind of game you guys want to do. Okay? If you come up to me and you're like, we're going to do an MMO first-person shooter game, I'm probably going to reject it off the bat because that is a lot of work and we don't have time for that kind of thing. Okay? Couple things that you read through the stuff, you'll figure it out, but we're using Unity 3D. That is our game engine of choice. Your game has to be a 3D environment, but you can do what's called a 2.5D. It's still 3D, but it's in a flat plane. Kind of think, not quite like Paper Mario, but more of the more recent Mario games where you're still running on a across the screen in one direction, but the characters are still in a 3D model. So you can do that. And in the past we've had all types of games. Whether it was like a first-person shooter kind of thing, or it was a platformer kind of like Mario, and that you've ranged in quality of what they had to use, what they used, and how they did it. Okay, so yeah. So I'm going through the website here real quick. 3D, Unity 3D. Yeah, once you guys get an idea, send it my way. So for seminar 1, like the other classes, we don't have a book or any reading. We do have a video. Okay. Sorry. Your group is going to have its own little website to the course, and so you're going to have your own discussion boards, so you can post wherever you want there. Okay. If you want to share code there, you can, because the other group cannot see it. Plus, it's a group thing, so you can group and share. Your project for week 1. Your goal is to come up with a game idea and storyboard. Okay? Please use this to your advantage. So when you look at the seminar page, that first half, that first set of questions, get a rough idea of that out and send it to me, and I'll give you either a thumbs up or thumbs down, or I need more information. Okay? The second half, the part of the storyboards, I don't need that to, bless your game that you want to make. But because I don't want to see those until you pass them in at the end of the week. With the storyboards, kind of think of the storyboards. It's kind of like Walt Disney and his pictures and their movies. They always make those storyboards to kind of show the action of the movie, what are the main themes, what's going on. If you take Atlantis, for example, they did a storyboard. Their original storyboard, had almost just like 2 or 3 hours of content, of adventures, and they weren't even in Atlantis yet, and so they had to cut back a lot. Hopefully that's not your problem, but you know, the storyboards is a way for you guys to show me and make sure everybody's on the same page on what's going on with your project. Okay. So you want to make sure that you show the action of the game, maybe show what the menu might look like. You know, this stuff is not set in stone, but it gives you all a good idea of the direction you guys want to head into. So I really highly recommend that you do quite a few storyboards. And then, you know, on top of that, you know, all this is kind of leading up to like a design document that kind of states, okay, here's our game, and this is how we're going to design it. We don't officially do that, but you know, think about it. That's where the initial questions come in, and then that's where the storyboards kind of flushes it out. My one tidbit to you is keep the project simple. The second tidbit for you is please don't make this project your personal project. Every time I've taught this course where one person of the team was like, we're going to do my game and it's going to do it my way, and it never turns out well for you guys and for me. I had one student, he was getting upset with me when I was giving him feedback on his game, because we'll be testing these games later, and so I was giving him feedback on it. Hey, what about this? What about that? You know, their game looked really flat. They went with the 2.5D game, and it really did not look 3D. It looked really flat. And so I was trying to give him suggestions, and pretty much the last 3 seminars, he didn't even talk to me. He wouldn't respond to me or anything. And it wasn't until the very end when he said something in his journal and feedback forms about how he was getting so upset with me because his group was making his game. And so he took it very personally. So that's my hope, that you don't make this your personal game. Make this your group's game. Okay? And everybody needs to participate. Besides the project, so this week we're not, you know, don't worry about Unity. We're not starting coding. Please don't start coding. You'll start that in week 3, I believe. Week 2, we do some other stuff. We might start the project, but I'm pretty sure it's week 3. So please don't start the project. It's all about documentation right now. I want to make sure you guys have a solid game and a solid game idea. On that, one of the things I've kind of suggested in the past is, why don't you take a game idea and reimagine it? We had one course, I think it was last year actually, because it was Halloween time, and so what they did was they took Pac-Man and then kind of reimagined it as a maze runner game, and so there was a ghost and everything in the maze. The one problem I had with it was the maze was super complicated to get through, and it was one directional. So it wasn't like a Pac-Man maze. It was a one direction maze from start to finish. So that was my only feedback of frustration with that going. Another group had done Duck Hunt. They did a reimagining of Duck Hunt, and so it was, you know, out in the field, and then they had the dog, and then once you got to a certain area, the dog would run off, and then the birds would pop up. They had a clay pigeon area, so they had the clay pigeons pop out, and it was okay. We'll just go with that. So besides the projects, every week you'll have a game development journal. So this is kind of like, so I'm your producer, I'm the game company head. I'm the one that's gonna be, making, the discs and publishing this and marketing their product, right? So you need to keep me up to date on how you're doing because you're the developer of your project, and so that's where the game developer journal comes in. So the project is a group thing. This journal is a group thing. So as a group, you guys need to write this up. I don't care how you do it. You can assign it to one person, and then everybody else can just, check it off like they agree with it or whatnot. Or you can make it a group thing and do whatnot. How you do that is fine, up to you. But you need to pass it in as a Word document or a TXT file. But make sure you label any red flags you might be having, any questions or concerns. Let me know it went well. If you give me all negative feedback, I'd be like, okay, something's wrong. You need to try to fix this. Any open issues. So so like next week is all about assets. We're gonna look at getting assets for your project and figuring out what you're gonna need. And so usually everybody's short on that list because everybody thinks, oh, we just need these 5 items, when in reality it turns out you need these 50 items. And so a lot of people don't take that one quite seriously, and they're scrambling at the last minute to try to find stuff. So if there's any open items, like, oh, we forgot to do this, or we still need to work on this a little bit more, you'd want to let me know. And then any changes you want to make between now and then. So this week when you make your project, you're kind of just saying, okay, this is our project and this is what we're going to be building. As we go through the process, you'll get to a point where you're like, okay, we're going to have to scrap this feature, or we're going to need to modify this one to accommodate this other feature. And then you don't want to be adding features at the end either. So you want to make sure you have a big enough project to cover everything. So that's where the changes come in. Then we have 3 assessments. One is your self-assessment. This is where you're assessing yourself. Then you're going to have an assessment for each of your teammates. So if you're in a team of 4, you're going to have 1 for you, and then you're going to have 3 more for your other 3 teammates. Try to keep the focus of the assessments to those individuals. So if the assessment is about you, just try to keep it focused on you and not necessarily, I work great with, team member A, but team member B sucks and blah, 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 right? Keep it on you, like, okay, this is what I did. This is how I, feel about things. And then when it comes to the other people, then you talk about them. Oh, team member A, he was awesome. He did everything, and then some. Member B, he was kind of there, but not really. And then member C, we never heard from him, ever. True stories. So that's the assessment. And then the final assessment is the instructor assessment. Pretty much this is just free 5 points for you, everybody, every week. That's it for seminar 1. So I don't know if you know this, but Baker is kind of mixing things up starting next fall. And so I had to go through this course and not reimagine it, but go through it and work on it and update it, because this course has been updated since day 1 when I originally made it, with some help. But I have extra documents for you guys. I'll be posting those in the discussion board for you. There's 2 PDFs on design document, on what a design document for a game is. So there's 2 PDFs. I have some new assessment files. Before we just let you guys do the assessment, and in the beginning it was just crazy, and then over the years I've kind of refined it with each class, and so I have some assessment files for you, and then as we go through the course, I'll have other files to present to you, to hopefully help you guys out. That's about it. Please, please, please use me as a resource if you need to. Okay? I mean, I can't program the game for you or help you program or anything like that, but I can help steer you in the right direction if you have questions on what you should or shouldn't be doing with your project. Okay? I think that's it. The video's getting kind of long. I'll stop there. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be setting up your groups here in a few minutes, or by the time this video gets loaded up, they'll be done, hopefully. That's it. I will talk to you guys later. Hope you like the course. Yeah, see you later.